All right, so we're back. Another episode here. Today we're talking about closings. What are the types of closings? I know with a residential resale, or condo resale, there is only one closing, and that is the day of closing. So with condos, there's two. Let's talk about those closings, Colin. What are the two different types of closings with condos, and what can we expect for each of those?
Okay, so as you mentioned, a closing on a regular condo that's built, a resale condo, it's exactly the same as a house. So I make an offer to purchase, and I tell you that in that offer that I want to move in 45 days, standard closing.
Right.
When you buy a brand new condo, a pre-construction condo, there are two closings. One of them is not technically called a closing; it's called an interim occupancy.
Okay.
What you want to understand about an interim occupancy is that you're invited by the builder to obtain the keys and move in. The builder is still responsible for the building, so he's charging you an interim occupancy fee. This gets all kinds of different names. This gets a phantom mortgage. This gets called a builder's rent.
Yeah.
I always look at it as that you're moving in, especially as an investor in this condo. You could put a renter in if your agreement allows you to put a renter in during interim occupancy. That fee is generally about 70. I'm going to say 2/3% of your carrying cost. So if you have a $2,000 mortgage and let's say $500 of maintenance fees and taxes, let's say your cost to run that unit is $2,500.
So in the interim occupancy, sorry, carry on. You said the
Well,
total cost.
so what happens is that you have a $2,500 cost, and the rental market is not that friendly on today's date, but it used to be that rental unit might run for $3,000 a month. Your
Right.
interim occupancy, you're making money already by somebody being in there. So that's
The interim occupancy though, am I having to set up my hydro and all that stuff during, they say it's not included in the maintenance fee. So do I pay the builder the interim occupancy fee plus I got to set up my hydro and everything, or is that all included in the fee?
so when you move into a condo or a house, you're setting up your hydro and you know your television or your cable, I should say.
Yeah.
What happens is that you're paying 2/3 to the builder to run the building. So you're going to be utilizing the heat and hydro in your unit. You're going to be, sometimes the water it isn't part of your maintenance fee, so you're going to have to set up Toronto Water, that type of thing. So yeah, there are going to be extraneous costs over and above what you're looking at. But the thing
So
is that
basically, if it's not included in the maintenance fee, I have to set it up during the interim phase.
correct.
Okay, got it. That's what
You're living in that unit. It's basically almost like being in a rental unit that, if the landlord's not paying the heat and hydro, then you're paying it. So same
yeah.
concept.
Yeah, and you don't really you're not paying your mortgage yet, and that unit technically still is owned by the builder,
Yeah,
right?
the builder's mandated to take care of that building for several months. It might even be a year to make sure that the building runs efficiently and nothing breaks down. I forget exactly what the condominium act states, that the builder's responsible. Like, he's not just giving you the building, upon
Yeah.
completion. They're making sure that they put that building together correctly. The HVAC is 100%. The sprinkler systems are intact, and the fire department comes in and checks it all the time. They do that all the time after you move in, but the builder's responsible to keep the building running for many months.
So let me get this straight. If I'm on the third floor of 50 and my unit is ready to move in, even though floors 4 to 50 are not, the builder will still give me my keys to move in
Yeah.
the interface. So
In
once your unit is ready, regardless of what's going on inside or outside, there could be mud everywhere and all that.
Yeah.
You have to start paying that interim occupancy once the builder has identified that your unit is ready to occupy.
Yeah. That's why you have your lawyer review your documents. Your agreement of purchase and sale with the builder allows the builder to move you in a timely fashion.
Got it. Yeah, I remember back in the day, my first condo I moved into back in 2004 was in Port Credit on Port Street, number 80, and I got my occupancy, and it was the weirdest thing because I went to the lawyers, I signed the papers, they gave me my keys, and I walked into the building, and there was no carpet on the floor in the hallway. My unit
Yeah.
number was spray painted on the floor,
Yeah.
but my unit was finished. It was done outside of a couple of deficiencies that we discovered on the PDI. And I was basically the first person to sleep in the building. And the only two people in there were the security guard and me. It
Yeah.
was bizarre. But, for months after that, people started to move in and, I guess they got their keys and they got occupancy, but I had nowhere else to live at the time. I wasn't, I didn't take 2 months to move in there. I
Yeah.
moved in right away, and it was very cool, but very bizarre that here this building is still under construction.
Yeah.
I'm living in it. Like I got to see it all kind of get finished, but that was my interim occupancy. And yeah, and then months later, because the building needed to be this final closing, which we're going to get into now, happened once the building was registered, and because of where I was, and there was a lot of public municipal parking there. The registration took about 6 months with the city of Mississauga,
Yeah.
which is a very long time. So I was in that interim occupancy stage for 6 months with the builder because of parking, essentially. So let's
Yeah.
get into final closing. So now I've moved in. I'm occupying the unit. I'm living in there and paying builder rent or whatever you want to define it as. And all of a sudden I get a notice saying, what's next? What happens next? How do we get the final?
Well, the builder's incentive to finishing interim occupancy is getting it registered with the city.
Okay. What does that
Uh,
mean?
so what happens is if they have 75% occupancy, if there's 100 units and there's 75 people in those units, that's 75% occupied.
Yeah.
The builder submitted a request to register the building as a condominium corp. What this
Okay.
means is that once they register the building, you have to put your mortgage on that, and it becomes your sole ownership.
So
So
for me
what?
as an owner, I got to notify my bank, like when that
Yeah,
happens.
you should be talking to your bank start of interim occupancy, because if everything goes according to plan, the builder wants you to take ownership, because then the builder doesn't pay for the building anymore.
Right.
So if things are delayed during interim occupancy, I really don't think the builder is doing that maliciously. And in fact, I
No.
doubt it. I highly doubt it, because the builder can release the building off their books once it's registered.
Right.
So once it's registered, you've spoken to the bank. You're now ready to put your mortgage on it. You take sole ownership. It becomes a condominium corp, and a board of directors is elected. Okay, and then the building's taken over by the board of directors running the condominium corp. They hire a property management company. They likely will keep the one that's instilled within the deal from the builder, unless they see that after 12 months they may want to change the property management company. It's at the sole discretion of the owners.
So basically, now I've got the final closing. The building's registered. It has a condominium registration number, and I'm paying a mortgage, and
Yeah.
I'm paying maintenance fees and all that stuff. Okay, so just to recap, we had interim occupancy and we have final closing. So there's two types of closings for condominium pre-construction. Make sure you're aware of those. We're telling you right now. But again, Colin, I really appreciate your time on this and guidance, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers, bud.
All right, cheers.